That's your
What you playing?
I
That game from earlier?
didn't play no game. Alright. Oh, I didn't play. Oh, you didn't do anything.
Go to Mr. Santos.
You never. Oh, you're here. You never do anything.
All right, everyone,
You
who's got
never
their
do it.
laptops
You're not
open,
getting that back.
please open up today's classwork. And your headphones, please. Your hood. Media, your
Take all that hoods off.
You'll be all right.
Oh, there's National Terrorist.
Okay,
This group take that.
Alan, laptop. Eva, laptop. Very nice. Darius, your hood, please.
I have no beard, bro.
All right, I'm waiting for everyone to be seated, silent, and ready to begin.
Hey, Charles,
Yes, I'm there.
can Jaden borrow your charger?
Jaden Flowers, can you take a seat, please?
I need a charger.
No?
No.
Oh,
You didn't give me my
sorry.
charger back.
Go get one from the students. Go get one from National Dream or National.
If you are late, without a pass, you earned a referral for being late.
I get all of them.
All right, everyone, please track me up here.
All full computers in 45 degree.
Donna, thank you, Shav. Thank you, Nigel.
That's well good. That's better.
Thanks, Kyron.
Thank you,
All
Karen.
right,
He's stretching.
we're gonna start class by
Thank you,
going
sir.
over the
Thanks,
quiz
sir.
that you all took yesterday. So, raise, okay, I was gonna ask, raise your hand if you have not taken the quiz from yesterday. Nancy, can you please go next door and take it? You can bring your book with you too.
Finish on the.
Luciana, you're gonna be taking it later, but you're gonna take a different quiz. Now raise your hand if you did the reading for this quiz.
Shit. So, this is melon.
No,
What happened to that? There's the hair, orange.
that's
Red.
problematic that there are three
Fat
hands up.
guy. I got cherry and strawberry,
Input from
blue
anyone.
raspberry, red and blue raspberry.
To say that I'm disappointed is really an understatement right now, because I know some of you personally, and I know what you're capable of, and the work that you're putting in. And even if you were not doing the work, the indifference and apathy, the lack of communication with me speaks volumes. I'm not gonna repeat again that you're in 10th grade,
Shy guy.
and there is a limit to the amount of extensions you can have, to the amount of time you can stay after school and redo something. And you know this. That is why we're gonna go over the quiz from yesterday. For the rest of this week, you will all be coming into class and you will be reading every single day. We're not gonna do any of the usual fun lessons I had planned. I had a couple of good ones. But we've proven that we can read. We can, but we choose not to. So we are going to read in class. And we are going to read all of volume 3 in class. And then you will have a challenging quiz on what we have read in class. And if we want to sit there and look indifferent and look like we're going to make it up later, every single thing that we're doing this week in class, there is no opportunity for makeup or to stay after school. If you are in class, you should be able to do it in class with us. I don't want to hear any emails from you or a parent or guardian saying, can I have extra time? Can I make it up later? The answer
You
is
don't
no.
have mode.
You have
This
class.
is distracting.
Whether you choose to come to class with a charger, prepared, and ready to discuss is up to you. Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing this week?
Alright.
Okay, everyone please track the screen so that we can begin going over the quiz from yesterday. I'm gonna zoom in so that we can all understand what we got wrong and why we got it wrong. The first question is, according to the text, what is the creature's primary motivation. Nishant, can you take your headphones out, please? The creature's primary motivation. Chiron. To obtain knowledge. Thomas, do you agree or disagree? Do you agree to obtain knowledge? Jane Flowers, do you agree or disagree? Agree? Raise your hand if you agree. That is C, to obtain knowledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is incorrect.
No, 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 no.
It is not to obtain knowledge. If you read these chapters, his main motivation is to not to obtain knowledge. That happens accidentally as he observes this family and he learns. There's one thing in life that he truly, really wants. What is that, Yusuf?
To seek revenge on his creator.
That is incorrect.
D.
Madame, it's D. To acquire love and compassion from other people. He does not try to seek revenge on his creator in these pages. Remember, I'm not saying in the whole book, Yusuf. I'm saying in chapter 7 of volume 2 specifically. One of the traits that I have noticed is that when I give you a certain chapter or page number, I don't see people turning to that page to find answers. I see people just guessing. Meeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's not going to help you. I have students who did not do any of this reading and still pass this quiz. Because this quiz is not about exactly all of the reading comprehension. There are clearly answers that you can't eliminate if you did like a basic read. We're gonna go over some of those coming up. Number 2, based on the plot of chapter 7, page 121, with which statement would Mary Shelley most likely agree with? What can we eliminate right off the bat? Jane Flowers, you should be tracking the screen and engaging so you can participate with us. Alan, you as well. Jawad.
It went out.
This is
Jawad? B. Humans are born innately discriminatory. What does that mean, that humans are born innately discriminatory?
Like, they're born for people not to like them.
Not for people not to like them. What does it mean to discriminate?
Like, to hate them.
To hate. To hate people because of their differences. So are humans all born that way?
No.
Then tell me why 7 people chose B yesterday. So why would Mary Shelley agree with something that you all know to be false? You have to use your logic in this manner. So B we can eliminate. What do we think the right answer is?
so.
It's challenging when we haven't done the reading. So what? Back to you. D. Violent behavior and suicide is justified in response to mistreatment.
No.
Why not? Does he kill himself? The creature? In chapter 7, does he think? You said you need to stop calling out when you don't know the answer.
I just do not do
Do
that.
that often. You're just guessing.
Do not-
Confuse
do
those
not
people
do that.
who are trying to learn. You understand? Nice shot.
Touch that.
Answer C. So, Joel, what I will say is that it is not D. Think about what the question is asking. Who is Mary Shelley? Do you think the author would agree with the idea that violent
Painful.
behavior and suicide is justified? The message. Usually, authors have messages that are moral. What does it mean for a message to be a moral message? A positive message. Authors usually have moral, positive, good messages. Does that sound good to you? No. B is incorrect. We know that D cannot be because that's a moral message. It's between A and C. C, prejudice is impressed upon us by society. What does that mean? Diva?
What that?
What does prejudice to be impressed upon us by? What does it mean to be prejudiced?
Like, it's mean?
To be prejudiced is to be mean?
No.
I should see every hand up for the definition of prejudice. Everyone, I know you know this. Dig deep. What does it mean to be prejudiced?
Liking or disliking?
Based on what?
Rather than special reason. Like you,
Stop reading it from online. Prejudice is an opinion?
I mean, disagree.
In what class have you learned about historical prejudice? History. What in this country, what community has typically faced prejudice?
Muslim.
Muslims, yes. Black, absolutely. So what does it mean? What is the definition of prejudice, Thomas?
You don't like someone
For what reason? Not for no reason. What is the reason you don't like someone or you look down on them?
Racism.
Not because of racism. Because of the way they look
The way they
or anything they believe, any perceived differences. So prejudice, is that something that
Just
you're
a
born with?
thing.
No,
Our babies born and they're like, oh, I hate black people.
no.
No,
Not
babies
really.
are not born that way.
They're so bad.
What makes them that way?
They're born.
Society, parents, absolutely. Why do people hate the monster? Is it because they were born hating ugly things?
Society.
Because of his appearance. Okay? Ziana, because society tells you that this is ugly, so it is different, and therefore it should not be valued. The answer is C. Prejudice is impressed upon us by society. Number 3. Which of the following statements most accurately characterizes the creature in chapter 8 of volume 2? First of all, what does he do in this chapter? Jaden Flowers, bring your head up and keep your eyes open or you're going to go next door.
You should change others.
What happens
You
in
can
this chapter?
You know you're Jane Johnson. Jane, what's the problem?
Thomas, bring out your book, please.
You should pay attention. It's not. Yeah, you should pay
Everyone go
attention.
to page 135 in your book. In your book. Alan, your book, please. So let your book, please. Still nothing? Mm-hmm. What? I can't hear you. 135.
Morrison.
Where's your book?
We are going from the very top of page 135, and then we're going to answer this question. Page 135 is the top. If therefore I could seize him and educate him as my companion, not be so desolate in this peopled earth. By this impulse, I seized on the boy as he passed and drew him towards me. As soon as he beheld my form, he placed his hands before my eyes and uttered a scream. I drew his hand forcibly from his face and said, "Child, what is the meaning of this? I do not intend to hurt you. Listen to me." He struggled violently. "Let me go," he cried. "Monster, ugly wretch. You wish to eat me and tear me to pieces. You are an ogre. Let me go, or I will tell my papa. Boy, you will never see your father again. You must come with me. Hideous monster, let me go. My papa is ascending. He is Mr. Frankenstein. He will punish you. You dare not keep me. Frankenstein, you belong then to my enemy, to him towards whom I have sworn eternal revenge. You shall be my first victim." The child still struggled and loaded me with epithets which carried despair to my heart. I grasped his throat to silence him, and in a moment he lay dead at my feet. I gazed on my victim, and my heart swelled with exultation and hellish triumph. Clapping my hands, I exclaimed, "I too can create desolation. My enemy is not invulnerable. This death will carry despair to him." Who does he kill? Who? Not Frankenstein's enemy. Yusef.
Frankenstein's son.
Not his son. Chiron. His brother. His brother. Justine, the woman Justine.
And
In fact, in this part, the monster reveals that he killed the brother
Willie.
of Frankenstein, William. He's a little boy, and he just strangled him to death. And how did he feel right afterwards? No, he felt a lot. What did he feel? The child, right here. I gazed on my victim, and my heart swelled with exultation and hellish triumph. He was what? He was mad and?
He's being mad as possible.
What
He's
do you mean, what's
divorcing.
exultation? Oh, the vocab word is here. To exult. What are you talking about?
Victor.
What?
It can't change.
Who are you talking about?
It's gonna change.
Is creative.
It's
Victor.
change.
Victor said it.
Yeah, because you heard him say it. You don't even read and you raised your hand.
I did read. I read like two lines.
Cursed creator. He's upset at his creator for doing what to him? For creating him and abandoning him. So which of these talks about or really details the idea that it is not okay to just create life and abandon it? Moses.
I said B because it's kind of like since he was left, and like he was created and left, so it's like he needed the structure and his support to actually be happy,
Okay.
and he isn't happy right now because of that reason.
Okay, very good. However, there is something fundamentally a little bit different because B is a really, really good distractor. B is a little bit simplistic. What is an elevated way of supporting what we all just said? What?
Answer the D.
D?
Yeah.
Why D?
What's that called?
Who plays with life?
Victor.
Victor plays with life.
And he basically then he loses control.
Mm-hmm.
And
there-
now there's consequences.
And now there's terrible consequences. It is D. D is the correct answer. And what was the line that you just read? Where is that? First one, A. Very good. Number 6. The following best explains what the monster's description of his own rage reveals himself. The same page you're on. Keep reading. The same page, 129. Should read that page and be able to answer this question. Right? Stop. I was like a wild beast. Which of these says that he was described as a wild beast? The first one. So does this one. Does he describe himself as a wounded beast? No, just a wild beast. Already, what is the correct answer? A. Deep down, he views himself the way people have portrayed him. He's a monster. Eva, need your attention. Number 7. Which of these best supports? Let me go back to it. Which of these quotations best supports that response? The one where he described himself like a wild beast. A, B, C, or D? You just read the quote. Where is it? Is it A, B, C, or D? Which one? D? B? D? Do we agree? Do we agree? Yes, it is B. Which of the following best describes how the language in this chapter contributes to the tone?
A worst life.
Just look at the word. Is the language passionate and dramatic? Is it long-winded? Is it jumbled and inconsistent? Or is it short and terse? Does he say all of his things in like little short sentences? No. So that's not what? It's not D. Is it inconsistent and jumbled? Can you understand it? So it's not inconsistent and jumbled. It's not C. You just said it's not C. So is it A or B? Thomas.
A.
It's long-winded. Mimicking Frankenstein's contributing harsh tone. What is incorrect about B? It can be a little long-winded, but is he mimicking Frankenstein's speech?
No.
What is he mimicking? The books that he has read. Absolutely. He does not mimic it Frankenstein. He mimics the books that he has read. 1 second. Miss Katie, can you write her a pass, please? So which one of these quotations sounds dramatic and passionate? A, B, C, or D? Jade Flower, bring your head up, please. Ken, Thomas, which of these sounds dramatic and passionate? Jaden, which of these sounds dramatic and passionate? One, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands. Jaden, what do you have? Come on, which of these sounds dramatic and passionate? Be able to help him out. He's choosing to be silent as always. Hey, very good. Look at the language. He is always, if I intend to desolate your heart, Moses, what do I intend to do to you? Yusuf? To destroy you? Is that an option here? Which one? To destroy his reputation? So you associate your heart with your reputation? Oops. What? B? Why B?
He said that in the text.
He said that in the text? Not enough reason. Moses.
No, it's
I
no.
would say B because
He just said no.
Because why?
I think it's no.
because so he said destroying his heart and basically he but Lord, him threatening to kill the family members like basically destroying his heart because they're all like connected.
So it's B?
Yeah.
It's B.
It's yeah.
What is what?
Bloody you.
Think about family.
No. Dismember is to take people limb from limb. So I'm gonna take Thomas's arm and cut it off, take his other arm and cut it off, take his legs and cut it off.
Oh,
Correct. To do that. He's threatening to eliminate and kill all of the people close to you.
So C.
So B. Everyone, for this, you have to read. You can do better than this, and I believe that you can, but you have to believe it yourself. And you have to internalize the fact that you got to read. You got to get through it. A lot of you have been doing the right thing, and you have been reading, and you have really been improving. And for that, for now, we're going to continue. And like I said, we are going to read together. That's all we're doing this week. So please open up your classwork. Thomas, don't complain when you haven't done a little bit of reading, okay?
Take all your stuff
Don't
in
start. Don't start. Please open up your classwork. It is posted in today's folder. I will also bring it up here. Diva, classwork. Viola, thank you for getting to the classwork. Alan is getting there. Colette is
I
there.
am there. I am
Jaden
there.
Flowers. Head up. If I have to ask you again, you're going next door. Jaden, go next door.
Arjun.
All right. Thumbs up if we're here.
Who on classwork?
Thank you, Kyron. Thank you, Moses. Brandon, are you there? Good. Tim, are you there? Getting there. Kishab, very good. All right. So we have 9 quotations from chapters 1 and 2 of volume 3. We have to do a little bit of review. At the end of volume 2, what is the one thing that the creature demands of his creator? He says, there's one thing that you have to do for me, or else I will desolate your heart. I will kill everyone who matters to you. What is that, Khaled?
To listen to him.
Nope. That is one thing he told him at the very beginning of volume 2. He said, you have to listen to me. At the end of volume 2, he says, now that you've listened to me, this is what you have to do. What is that, Fanta? To make him a partner. He what is the one thing he wants more than anything? We just went over this. He wants what?
Structure.
Not structure. He wants friend. He wants companionship. He wants love. He wants admiration. Can he do it with any human being? No, because they all look different. So he tells Dr. Frankenstein, that's 2. He tells Dr. Frankenstein, make me what? Make me a partner. Make me a bride who looks like me, who can connect with me. Stop.
No.
All right, so everyone,
You started.
Now we are on
He started.
the beginning of volume 3,
These guys get
chapter
sick.
1, page
I'm gonna get
143.
sick.
We are all there, and we're going to read together. Let's see here. Diva, can you please read the first question of the classwork? It is
I
page
think he has his mask
143.
down.
In the space below, include a quotation that characterizes Victor Frankenstein in Volume 3, Chapter 1. What does this quotation reveal about Victor?
Thank you very much. So already I'm going to read this first page, and what we have to do is find one quotation that characterizes Victor Frankenstein. That's what I'm going to ask you to annotate in this very first part. Which quotation best characterizes him, best describes him in this page? And remember, the monster has just done
Don't
what?
raise your hand.
What has the monster just done?
Don't raise your hand.
Moses? Murder who?
Take it back.
No.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's brother. He didn't just do it, but he just told him, by the way, your little brother who died, that was me. I did that. And then he tells him, create a bride for me. And if you don't, kill everyone else who you love in your life.
Why did his brother say Falcon? And then the monster was like Falcon.
Because that is the creature's father, right? The creature's father is Victor Frankenstein, because Victor Frankenstein created him. If someone created you, you would consider them a parent in some way. All right, here we go. Day after day, week after week, passed away on my return to Geneva. The narrator here is who? Don't worry, I'll say it. Victor Frankenstein. Day after day, week after week, passed away on my return to Geneva, and I could not collect the courage to recommence my work. I feared the vengeance of my disappointed fiend, yet I was unable to overcome my repugnance to the task which was enjoined me. I found that I could not compose a female without again devoting several months to profound study and laborious disquisition. I had heard of some discoveries having been made by an English philosopher, the knowledge of which was material to my success, and I sometimes thought of obtaining my father's consent to visit England for this purpose, but I clung to every pretense of delay and shrank from taking the first step in an undertaking whose immediate necessity began to appear less absolute to me. A change indeed had taken place in me. My health, which had hitherto declined, was now much restored, and my spirits, when unchecked by the memory of my unhappy promise, rose proportionably. My father saw this change with pleasure, and he turned his thoughts towards the best method of eradicating the remains of my melancholy, which every now and then would return by fits, and with a devouring blackness overcast the approaching sunshine. At these moments, I took refuge in the most perfect solitude. I passed the whole days on the lake, alone in a little boat, watching the clouds and listening to the rippling of the waves, silent and listless, but the fresh air and bright sun seldom failed to restore me to some degree of composure. And on my return, I met the salutations of my friends with a readier smile and a more cheerful heart. Which line best characterizes Victor Frankenstein and how he feels in these pages? Yusef, what do you have?
It says, my father saw the scenes with pleasure and he turned his thoughts toward the best method of eradicating.
So what does that line tell you the most about the narrator, about how Victor is feeling?
Yeah, he's been sad.
Where do you see that? You didn't read that line at all. If you're saying he's feeling sad, what line really reveals that?
Remains of my melancholy.
I was hoping you get to that. Madonna?
It was I passed whole days on the lake alone in a little boat, watching the clouds and listening to the rippling of the waves.
What is giving him comfort there?
The lake, the ocean.
Yeah, nature provides him with comfort.
Oops. Nature provides comfort. If you look at your classwork, you will see that number 2. What is number 2?
The answer for number 1.
No, not exactly.
Not really.
It could be. Moses?
Tell what you said.
So remember, in the directions for all of these quotation analysis, I asked you to focus on characterization and theme. For this one, what could you focus on? Characterization or theme?
The theme. Theme. We're gonna do
Sorry?
theme first.
Why? Okay, it describes his character as taking refuge in nature. Could it also be theme? The author's message? Does the author have a message in this book about nature that continues throughout the book? Nature usually serves to do what? Comfort, peace. Very good. This one, you could either choose characterization or theme. It's up to you. Both would make sense. Okay? But it is up to you to write this in your own words. I am not doing it for you. In this excerpt, we see Victor Frankenstein find solitude, find comfort, and find peace in nature once again. For number 1, we still have to acknowledge what is the best line in this page that really reveals exactly how he is feeling. I'm waiting. Chiron? Sorry, a little louder, please. Wait, where are you?
The second sentence.
Second sentence? Okay.
I fear the vengeance.
Okay, very good. Keep going. So what does he feel? What is he feeling? No. Look at the second word of the line.
No people wearing masks.
Look at the second word of the line. Brent, fear. I fear. How are you going to look at the word fear and say, oh, he's hating him, or he's angry? He's afraid. What did he fear?
What is it?
Him losing his loved ones, because who's
I
the
don't see a lot of
fiend?
people wearing masks.
If the monster is disappointed, he's going to kill my family. Yet I was unable to overcome my repugnance to the task which was enjoined me. That line right there, you can use for number 1. That reveals and that characterizes Victor Frankenstein. He feels afraid. He has anxiety over whether he can accomplish this. He's afraid the monster is going to seek vengeance on him. Viola.
Mr. Santoni, I have a quick one.
Yes.
Quick thing. So we can write this line.
Yep, that line exactly for number 1.
Yeah.
Y'all just tune out like every 2 seconds. It's the second line of the whole page. I feared the vengeance of the disappointed fiend.
2.
Why don't you have it written down?
I don't know.
Diva, right.
Because
Right.
Right. Your book isn't open. You haven't
I
written.
didn't see his book.
Go.
What else to write?
No.
Mhm.
Write that line. You see right
Help
now?
him, Keisha.
Okay, I forgot.
Lord knows he needs it.
Right there. Go to page 143. Alright.
Now, very next page. 144. Everyone, please turn to page 144. We're going to go there in 30 seconds and we're going to start reading. All right, everyone, very top of page 144. It was after my return from one of these rambles that my father, calling me aside, thus addressed me. To remark, my dear son, that you have resumed your former pleasures and seem to be returning to yourself. And yet, you are still unhappy
Chill out.
and still avoid our society. For some time, I was lost in conjecture as to the cause of this, But yesterday an idea struck me, and if it is well founded, I conjure you to avow it. Reserve on such a point would be now not less, but draw down treble misery on us all. Who is speaking here? No.
It's not Victor. His father.
Me.
His son. No, his son. Son.
Brandon. Not the monster.
Son.
His father.
Oh yeah, his father. I'm right. His
The
father.
first sentence that
Oh,
I
yeah,
read,
I
Yusef, what does it say? That my father, calling me aside, thus addressed me. Okay? His father is speaking. I trembled violently at this exordium, and my father continued. I confess, my son, that I have always looked forward to your marriage with our dear Elizabeth as the tie of our domestic comfort and the stay of my declining years. You were attached to each other from your earliest infancy. You studied together and appeared in disposition and taste entirely suited to one another. But so blind is the experience of man that what I conceived to be the best assistance to my plan may have entirely destroyed it. You, perhaps, regard her as your sister, without any wish that she might become your wife. Nay, may have met with another whom you may love, and considering yourself as bound in honor to Elizabeth, this struggle may occasion the poignant misery which you appear to feel. What does his father want him to do? Brandon? Marry Elizabeth. He wants him to marry Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is what to him?
What's his sister?
Is it a sister?
No, she's adopted.
She's like an adopted sister, and he always kind of called her cousin. So he always kind of viewed her as like a really close cousin. But the father says, I want you to marry her. Father wants Victor to marry Elizabeth. How do I write that small? I mean, you can do it too. It's not like it's a talent or anything.
I know, but it's like it's kind of hard to read.
I know it's hard. I know. So I prefer books that have bigger margins so I can do better annotations. But you work with what you got. My dear father, reassure yourself. I love my cousin tenderly. So how does he address her usually? As what? I love my cousin tenderly. Cousin. I never saw any woman who excited as Elizabeth does my warmest admiration and affection. My future hopes and prospects are entirely bound up in the expectation of our union. Is he looking forward to marrying her?
Not really.
Is he looking forward to marrying her? Khaled, read the last sentence that I just read.
My future hopes and prospects are entirely bound up in the expectation of our union.
Oh,
So yeah,
so yeah. So what? What is he? How does he feel about it?
he wants to marry her.
Yeah, he loves her. He's looking forward to this as well. He wants to. He's always loved her. He wants to marry her. However, let's keep reading. The expression of your sentiment of this subject, my dear Victor, gives me more pleasure than I had for some time experienced. If you feel thus, we shall assuredly be happy. However, present events may cast a gloom over us. But it is this gloom which appears to have taken so strong a hold of your mind that I wish to dissipate. Tell me, therefore, whether you object to an immediate solemnization of the marriage. We have been unfortunate, and recent events have drawn us from that everyday tranquility befitting my years and infirmities. Anyone know what this word means? Solemnization? It's a big word. Look it up. What does it mean? Solemnization. People are Googling. Googling.
Wait, hold on. You guys,
What is it?
A celebration?
Celebration.
celebration.
So the father wants them to do this celebration of marriage when? Read that same sentence.
Like as soon as possible.
As soon as what does immediate mean?
Is it?
As soon as possible. Like, would you object to marrying her like immediately? Why do you think his father wants him to do this? Wants him to marry Elizabeth like immediately? Why would you want on your day of marriage? How would you feel? Happy.
No.
So why do you think his father wants him to marry?
I feel normal.
He's sad.
Because he's sad, he's depressed, he's melancholy, Yusuf. And if he has to marry someone now, it will cheer up his spirits. It will bring him joy. Okay? You are younger. Yet I do not suppose, possessed as you are of a competent fortune, that an early marriage would at all interfere with any future plans of honor and utility that you may have formed. Do not suppose, however, that I wish to dictate happiness to you, or that a delay on your part would cause me any serious uneasiness. Interpret my words with candor and answer me. I conjure you with confidence and sincerity. I listened to my father in silence and remained for some time incapable of offering any reply. I revolved rapidly in my mind a multitude of thoughts and endeavored to arrive at some conclusion. Alas, to me the idea of an immediate union with Elizabeth was one of horror and dismay. I was bound by a solemn promise which I had not yet fulfilled and dared not break. Or if I did, what manifold miseries might not impend over me and my devoted family? Could I enter into a festival with this deadly weight yet hanging around my neck and bowing me to the ground? I must perform my engagement and let the monster depart with his mate before I allowed myself to enjoy the delight of a union which I expected peace. Does he want to marry her immediately? Why?
Because of Victor.
Because he is Victor.
The monster. I mean.
Okay, say more.
He feels like
Eliza?
Probably scared.
He's scared because if he marries her now and they are husband and wife, and he doesn't do what he promised the monster he would do, what will happen? She will die, and he will die too. So he says, I want to marry her, yes, but not now. What does he have to do first? Make the monster a bride. He has to make her a bride first. If he can't do this, then the monster's gonna go off the wall and just kill everything. By the way, number 3 in your classwork. I was bound by a solemn promise which I had not yet fulfilled and dare not break. Or if I did, what manifold miseries might not impend over me. I'm going to give you a minute to write down what this contributes and what the purpose of this line is. Another 30 seconds.
Welcome. The map rock. Welcome. Sunshine. You know. Shooter. Come on. Oh. What do you mean? Tell him to shut up.
Don't be silly, bro.
Exactly. Tell him again.
Don't be silly, bro.
Yeah, right?
That sounds right.
Look at him.
You think this is
Yeah,
a
look at his
job?
work.
This job.
Steve, you're gonna stay after school today and we're gonna have a really good conversation. How are you this helpful
How's that
but you
feel?
can't answer a question?
Let me take your chair back.
It's a serious
No.
question. I'm not trying to be funny.
I still think you help me.
Diva,
You
do
like
know.
man. You know better. You
The
know
answer
better.
is you don't pay attention.
You know what it means. You're not getting back. You lost it.
All right, next paragraph. I remembered also the necessity imposed upon me of either journeying to England or entering into a long correspondence with those philosophers of that country, whose knowledge and discoveries were of indispensable use to me in my present undertaking. The latter method of obtaining the desired intelligence was dilatory and unsatisfactory. Besides, I had an insurmountable aversion to the idea of engaging myself in my loathsome task in my father's house, while in habits of a familiar intercourse with those I loved. I'm going to underline this line that has a lot of big words and it really communicates one simple thing. He has an aversion to the idea of doing his task in his father's house. What is his task again?
Make a monster a bride.
To make the monster a bride. Does he want to do it in his father's house? He says, I had an insurmountable aversion to the idea of engaging myself to this task in my father's house. Did he want to do it or not want to do it in his father's house?
No.
Did not. Why? I mean, what does it take to create another monster? What do you have to do?
Dead body.
Yeah, you got to get some dead bodies. Do you think you want to do that at your parents' house? No.
Yeah, he
does
can do
not
that.
want to do that. Okay, around the people who love him and he loves. I'm not trying to bring dead bodies back home and then have you find out what I actually do with my life. I knew that 1,000 fearful accidents might occur, the slightest of which would disclose a tale to thrill all connected with me with horror. I was aware also that I should often lose all self-command, all capacity of hiding the harrowing sensations that would possess me during the progress of my unearthly occupation. I must absent myself from all I loved while thus employed. While he is doing this job, he has to be away from everyone that he loves because they can't know what he's actually doing. Once commenced, they would quickly be achieved, and I might be restored to my family in peace and happiness. My promise fulfilled, the monster would depart forever. Or, so my fond fancy image, some accident might meanwhile occur to destroy him and put an end to my slavery forever. Why does he describe himself as a slave? What?
Is he trapped into not marrying Elizabeth?
He's trapped into not marrying Elizabeth and having to do what?
To create a bride for him.
Create the bride. Because he knows that if he doesn't do it, he's going to be killed. So he's like trapped in indebted in slavery to this creature. Now, everyone, for homework, what you have is the rest of this, which entails chapters 1 and 2 of volume 3. That is about maybe 10 or 11 more pages to read. Everyone, this is what we will be doing all week. I have to hold your hand and read with you because apparently we can't do anything else. Please do your best this week. You will have a quiz on these pages and you'll have a writing assessment on these pages.
You know, not getting back. You know what I'm talking about.